We are recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Conservatish, episode 187. My God. And we have a fitting guest, don't we? Make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever. Make sure you find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano and my backup account at Conservatish. That's much more important. Because they will kill my initial Instagram account. They are going to do it. So make sure you follow both. And find me on Twitter at Rule62Peter. Find me on Patreon to support this podcast and my music. I'm a wonderful musician at patreon.com/Conservatish. And my birthday, June 10th, I'm going to be releasing a big 80s cover. So keep posted for that. Ladies and gentlemen and sirs, we have the wonderful James Real Person Politics back on the show. We're so happy. Thank you so much for joining.
Aloha, brother.
How are you?
Thanks for having me, man. I am excited to be back, dude. Last time you and I just went off. You know what I mean? It was just so much fun. It was just like two guys shooting the shit over a beer. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Except mine is a LaCroix. So.
Yeah, and mine's green tea. What do you know?
We are losers. All right. Now, so where can people find you, please?
You can follow me. The best place to find me personally is at tavshow.com. And then you can find my links to all 55 networks that I'm on. Real quick shout out, fuck YouTube. Yes, I think are on YouTube right now, but they keep censoring me. So I'm letting everybody know that if you really want to watch my shows like Pirate Radio, we're not putting them back on YouTube. Fuck YouTube. Find me on dlive.tv. Find me on trovo.live. Find me at tavshow.com. And of course, check out my startup here, triado.media. That's the future of the internet.
Fantastic, dude. As wonderful as always, you are wonderful. First things first, what time is it in fucking Hawaii? I don't understand how this works. It's
only 5 o'clock. You and I are almost as far apart as you can be and still be in America, because nobody counts America Samoa as actually part of America. So yeah, I'm in Hawaii. It's only 5. We're a 6-hour time difference apart right now.
And no one really counts Maine either. I mean, let's be real.
Nobody counts Maine. Nobody counts America Samoa. Fuck those people.
Right. There's 5 of them, and they're deep in some sheep right now. There's no point to
deep in some sheep.
There's no point to figuring out where they're at. So obviously you were on a previous episode, and I've been on your show, Pirate Radio, twice now. I love your guys' show. One of the things I wanted to bring up right off the bat is what's going on at the border, because a lot of people who follow me, I'm as I've talked about, I'm much more a focuser on the cultural side of things, but the border is really fucked up, and a lot of people, especially during Trump's presidency, they said, oh, if you don't want illegal immigrants, it's because you're xenophobic and racist. No, there's real bad stuff going on at the border, and so I would love to hear some of the horrible things that are going on at the border, please.
Well, the number one, in my opinion, horrible thing is that they're basically using children as passports. This is no shit, real deal shit. You can check it out in all kinds of different forms of media, and the politicians and the people at the Border Patrol know it's happening. What's going on is that you've got parents, let's say, I don't know, we shouldn't probably call them parents, but sperm donors and egg donors to these children over there, and they're on our side of the border. And what they're basically doing is sending their children across the border, picking up a couple people and coming back with them. And they're doing this over and over and over. I swear to God, they're using children as passports.
To clarify, you're saying that American, whether they be citizen or not, are sending kids, Mexican parents, quote unquote, who are in America, are sending babies across the border to Mexico so that illegals can get in with them.
They absolutely 100% are. It's really disgusting. And so if you've got a legal immigrant, right, and you remember the whole status thing of people having, as long as they're a relative kind of thing to take care of the kids. That's why how this Biden administration is letting that be used as a passport. So that's what they're doing. That's why you see, and this is documented fact that there are children in the system that have crossed the border illegally 18 different times. Seriously, 18 different times with different adults. So you have to see what the picture is that's painting for you. This is not like a one-off. I'm talking about they've got thousands of cases like this where so the only way that's happening is that the people, whether they be their parents, cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever, the people that have custody of that child in America on the American side of the border, again, whether they be legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. They are transporting that child back across the border. And then somebody else is bringing that child back across the border into America in order to receive the benefit of being allowed into this country based on the fact that they have to, quote unquote, take care of the child. You got children in there that they've documented with both things like fingerprints and DNA, believe it or not, that have multiple passes across the country, across the border with different names. So you've already set up a child who's under, let's say, 10 years of age that, he's already got 15 aliases because of how many times he's been back and forth across the border. But because of the system the Border Patrol is forced to work under, yes, they're documenting him. That's why we have his fingerprints and 15 aliases, but they've basically got to let him go and let the adults go take care of him. It's disgusting. That's probably, in my opinion, the absolute worst thing that's happening down there at the border.
Mm. Yeah, and one of the things Director Mike talked about on your show was the idea that a lot of these law enforcement officers, there's a big call for law enforcement officers from around the country to come down to the border and help out. But the help out is not even stopping illegal immigrants coming over. It's essentially being a babysitter. Right.
You're 100% correct. There are Border Patrol agents that have nothing to do all day long but change shitty diapers and feed babies, but with their bottle. I kid you not. Now we've talked about this on my other show, Ladies of Liberty, but there went out an email from the Biden administration that any government employee, like this happened to every federal employee, they could get 4 months paid leave if they went and became a babysitter at the border. And at the same time, they're hired. So basically they get a no-show job. You become a babysitter at your government salary, whatever that government salary is. They're at the same time hiring babysitters at up to, get this number, $187,000 a year. By the way, that's an apropos number, right? Episode 187, $187,000 a year. Check that out. But yeah, there's literally down there in Texas, that's what they're advertising for. You can go be a babysitter and get paid $187,000 a year from the government. It's insanity. Insanity.
Because a lot of that sounds like a lot of these kids and a lot of these guardians, quote unquote, parents, quote unquote, of these kids almost sound like they're amateurs. Where do the professionals, where do the coyotes, as you will, as they used to be called, I don't know if they still are, where do they factor in?
Well, okay, so in the case of what I just talked about in the most egregious state, right, the coyotes are in conjunction with these people. So in other words, they're a paid asset. Now, everybody needs to understand that the coyotes are not like, Juan down the street. This is organized from the cartel level, okay? The cartels run all human trafficking into America. Trust me, if you think there's an independent contractor being a coyote out there, you're fucking insane, because the cartels would clip that motherfucker fast. Okay. That's just the way it is. The cartels run the show. So basically you've got a business structure. I mean, this is being handled like UPS for humans. I kid you not. I know that sounds like hyperbolic to say. The cartels have figured this game out. I mean, you can even look at the some of the videos of the guys crossing the border in the rafts. You can tell these guys are buying rafts at Costco. I mean, they got $1,000 rafts that they're willing to just throw down the Rio Grande there if they get caught. But, they know there's nothing going to happen except paddle across, kick the people off, paddle back. Anyways, so what I'm saying is that the cartels are running both the coyotes and those parents, people, guardians, whatever the fuck you want to call them, on this side of the border, all part of the same organization. That's why they've got this cycle going. That's how they've got the recycle thing happening, is because it's organized. It's not just, one family saying, oh, I'm going to get my family members in. No. That's how come the DNA doesn't match. That's how come the DNA doesn't line up that these people are their parents. That's what Trump put a stop to. And you'll notice when Trump was in office, because of the full out media coverage of the fact that we ain't letting you motherfuckers in, we're DNA testing everybody. Fuck you. Everybody stop coming. I know. Shocking. When you tell them you're not getting in and you tell them, look, we're going to DNA check your kids, it stopped. All of a sudden you get Biden in there. Hey, let's pay everybody. We'll go ahead and pay Hamas, pay Iran. Let's pay the fucking cartels across the border. Open that bitch up. What do you think's going to happen? It's like opening the doors to a McDonald's saying free fucking hamburgers. The whole goddamn city's going to be at the same fucking McDonald's. That's what's happening at the border right now.
Right. Now, along with that, where along the line do you remember, because you were plugged into this thing. I only came into this non-liberal world and research and all that stuff a couple of years ago. So you were plugged into this when Trump came into office. How soon obviously the technology has changed, but how soon did that cease?
Almost instantaneously, because one of the first things that Donald Trump did was issue an executive order to the Border Patrol that said, basically, do your fucking jobs. And that's what sent the liberals fucking nuts, because that's really what happened. It's that simple. Now, once the liberals went nuts, the advertising went out. Once the advertising went out, all bets went down. Everything's just stopped within a year. I mean, it all just stopped. I mean, it was just trickles of people. And then it really got dramatic when about 2 years in, he said, okay, we're going to do this system where you're going to have to stay in Mexico. You can't even come to the border anymore. You cannot present yourself anywhere else but at the legal ports of entry. Again, following the laws on the books. And that's really how that happened, is that every step of the way when he did things, it was following the laws already on the books. There was no new law. There was no executive order creating new law. Executive orders only affect the executive branch. His executive order was instructing Border Patrol agents, do your job, follow the letter of the law. This is the White House executive branch interpretation of the law as it reads on the book. Therefore, this is the policy on how you're going to enact your behavior towards the law.
Now, to extrapolate on that idea, does that mean that Obama set up a culture? Because obviously, from the very small amount of speaking with, like as an example, listening to what Director Mike says about it, a lot of these guys, these Border Patrol agents want to do their job. They want to enforce. They want to take care of these kids. They want to take care of this. So it's not a laziness necessarily, but is there maybe a portion of it, or maybe did Obama being so lax make habits that were foul, like, or were these guys in to do their job, and then thank God Trump came in and said, yes, you can actually enforce it?
That's what exactly happened. There was no laziness on the Border Patrol at all. They've always wanted to do their job. They're disgusted by Obama. They hated what he did. This is a good place to insert Fast and Furious, by the way. One of the biggest problems that ever came out of the Obama administration, which is related to border security, by the way. This is why they created that culture. And the Border Patrol was absolutely disgusted by what they've been doing. The Border Patrol has been basically beat down for decades, though. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it's all the liberals' fault and the conservatives were all rosy, smelly people. No, fucking Bush fucked this shit up too. Okay. And let's not forget that all of this really started under Reagan. Reagan was promised border security funding that he never got. Then George Bush Sr. fucked that shit up too, kept it all fucked up, didn't really do anything to pursue to fix it. And the ball just kept rolling. Then you get Clinton in there. Then Clinton destroys the military on top of the border. I mean, so we're not talking like this is new. This shit was happening forever. Under Obama, it got so egregious to where the Border Patrol was questioning, why the fuck is America even paying us? Because we're basically doing nothing. We're doing catch and release on everybody. And the Border Patrol at that point had finally said, you know what, fuck this. We finally got a guy out here that's talking, let's close the fucking border. So, I mean, the Border Patrol, all the unions, everybody was like, fuck yeah, I'm with that guy. I'm with that guy over there. I think his name's Trump. Yeah, I don't give a fuck what his name is. We're with that guy. He said close the fucking border, and we agree. And let's not forget that I think the number is north of 60%. I could be a little bit off, but I'm pretty sure the number is actually closer to 80. But I'm just going to say it's north of 60% of all Border Patrol agents. They're Hispanic. So this is not fucking all a bunch of white guys running around playing fucking cowboys and Indians. Okay. This is the people trying to do the right thing for the right reasons to protect the United States of America and to protect the people of Mexico, by the way. Coyotes and cartels are nobody fucking nice. The rape trees shit that you hear alone is enough to tell you that if you fucking give these people an avenue, they're going to take advantage of humans. That's the story as old as time, right? Is that you always have people like this that will fucking take advantage of people if you let them. So don't let them.
Did you say the rape tree?
Oh, yeah. If you don't know what rape trees are, let me enlighten your audience just a tiny bit here, just for a quick second. They find these trees in the middle of the desert that have handcuffs on them, ropes tied around them, zip ties, and women's and children's underwear all around them. Why? Because some of these fucking people on these fucking caravans, fucking mostly the coyotes themselves, mostly the human traffickers themselves, they'll pull people out along the trip, women and children, tie them to a fucking tree. The whole fucking town runs a train on these people, and they fucking just move along on their business. They're called rape trees for a reason, because they find these trees all around the desert where clearly evidence is someone was tied to it, clothes were cut off of them, and you know these people were raped on this tree, and there's stories abound from actual people that have been human trafficked that shit happens. So it's not like I'm making some conspiracy theory up. This is shit that actually happens.
Jesus. Okay. All right.
Hey, you asked, man. This show went
no.
real fast.
For the old time listeners, I think even early on, I told what's known as the scissor story. I won't tell it now, but old listeners understand. Oh my God, James, I'm 187 episodes in. What am I doing? Anyway, okay. So one thing at a time here. I'm used to disturbing. I like every aspect of let's do it. So now, what has Biden from the top down done wrong? Okay, that's number one. And number two, what do you think the intention is?
Most of it is about money laundering. That's the overall intention. And disruption. And of course, they basically, the thing that they did wrong was do anything. They had an opportunity literally to basically just operate on Trump is bad, Biden is good, and then not do fucking anything but suck a lot of dicks and spray a lot of fucking perfume around and just glad hand everybody. And all the liberal left would have just said, everything's fucking roses. But instead, the thing they did wrong was basically countermanded everything Trump did, regardless of what it was. And literally, Trump created peace in the Middle East. Anybody heard of the Abraham Accords? Yeah. Okay. So Trump created peace in the Middle East. What did Biden do? He goes in and pays the Palestinians, pays Iran, wants to get back into the Iran fucking deal. All hell breaks loose in the Middle East, and somehow that's Trump's fault. Wait, all you had to do was nothing. Like literally all they had to do was nothing. The same is true of the border. It's consistent. And they just stopped everything that was going on from the executive branch, executive orders to the Border Patrol, and flipped the script and basically said, nope, you're going to stop deporting people. You're going to stop the whole policy of stay in Mexico until your court date. You're going to stop all of that, and we're going to fucking go back to catch and release, and we're never going to. He literally said this publicly, by the way. So this is where, you know, the ad agency gets involved, right? Where they're advertising to the third world by saying, and no children will ever be kicked out of the country. I mean, so what did he do wrong? He created an advertising campaign that said, yeah, basically he it's like he read off of the Statue of Liberty, bring us your tired, your poor, your masses, and we'll just let them all in no matter what. I mean, that's what the guy did. I mean, how do you have a sovereign nation of any kind when that's your immigration policy? I mean, it would be like, you know, France doing the same thing, or Germany, or England, or anybody else.
Or
just saying, fuck it,
let's say
borders.
Canada. Let's say Canada. Yeah. If I snuck over the border to Canada, how soon do you think I would get my? I mean, come on, everybody. Number one, no one's wanting to go to Canada because fuck Canada. Every Canadian I've had on my show is like, yeah, I don't want to be in Canada. Number two. Same thing goes. Let's piece apart this, because culturally, I know Mexicans, and Mexico is not like I've had. I can't remember who was talking about it on my show, but they're the 13th largest economy in the world. Okay, when you look at Mexico City as an example, it looks like bigger than San Jose, California. Shit is fine. Okay, shit is fine. Where it's not fine is from the government. Right now, apparently, the Mexican government is actually shut down. Already, a lot of them seem to be in the pocket of the cartels in general. Already, a lot of them seem to be paid off and corrupt, and we all know that. But as far as a living, if you're not in the government and you're not asking the cartel for help, if you're not getting in the cartel's pocket, life seems to be a little fucking fine. Like, meaning you wouldn't need to be a fucking refugee if you're a Mexican person in Mexico. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe because I don't know the numbers, but from what I remember, it's not Mexicans for the most part who are coming over, isn't it?
No.
Isn't it from south of them?
Yes. You're correct. You're 100% correct. The Mexicans are fucking happy. They're happy with their, you know, for example, there's a large population around Tijuana, Mexico, that daily drive back and forth across the border, coming to America, work, go the fuck home. This is what they do. They're all happy with it. It's not, for the most part, Mexicans that are trying to enter into America. It is third world countries. It is Hondurans, Guatemalans, Nicaraguans. This is where those people are coming from, all over South America, funneling up and traveling through Mexico. The Mexican people, this is another documented thing. We've talked about it before, and it's documented. There are videos on YouTube you can find. There are stories all over the internet you can find where the Mexican people do not want these fuckers coming through their country, because they destroy the country, leave shit all over the sidewalks, all over the streets, literally rob, rape, and pillage the fucking small towns on their way through, because they are third worlders. I mean, this is how people like MS-13 get into the fucking country, okay? Those are El Salvadorians, right? I can't remember it. You're fucking Hispanic, so you can say the name. But anyways, MS-13 fucking bring their asses up through here. What do you think they're doing to the Mexican population? They're doing what they know to do, which is act like a fucking shithead and dominate the local population, rob, rape, kill, whatever. This is documented shit. The Mexicans hate these fuckers every bit as much, and they're pissed off. Let me tell you this. The Mexican population is pissed off at Joe Biden. You won't hear that on the mainstream media, but they're fucking pissed. And the reason is because that motherfucker put a billboard up that said, come on through, all you third world motherfuckers again. And it's the Mexican people suffering the most. Believe me when I tell you this. It is the Mexican people suffering the most from this fucking billboard bullshit of these people traveling through Mexico, and they are pissed. And I'm not making that shit up. I don't speak Spanish. Well, I speak car wash Spanish, you know, but like, you know, that's like, you know, tú, aquí, limpia, you know, but that shit don't fly to understand everything. But I'm telling you, go find them on YouTube. There are video after video after video after video that are out there to show you that I'm telling you the truth.
And there's also videos of kids being straight up abandoned in the wilderness after they get across the border or near the border. there's video. There was one.
Both sides.
Poor little.
Yeah, you're absolutely 100% right. Look, it's heartbreaking. Look, Director Mike and his team down there that I'm friends with, they deal with this shit constantly. And it's on both sides of the border where you're having children just abandoned by themselves because the people got scared and it wasn't their fucking kid. This is, again, it wasn't their fucking kid. So they don't give a shit. Look, I'm sorry, but the reason that Americans fail at understanding the crisis at the border more than anything is because they apply their first world, nice mentality to third world mentality people. Look, the third world has a much better grasp of the strong survive, the weak fucking die. It is in culture and ingrained in them that is how they think. They really believe that joke that Americans say that, hey, look, fuck, I brought you in this world. I'll take you the fuck out. I'll just build another one of you. Okay. That is literally their mindset. Kids are fucking expendable. Okay. They can have another one. They can have another 10. They don't give a fuck if it comes to their safety and security first. It's only the first world that has the mentality, women and children first. The rest of the fucking world, fuck you. I'm strong. I'm first. Everybody else works for me, and I'll build some more kids if I need to. So that's why this happens. You see, if the people across the border see that American militaries on this side of the border's got them, they'll just fucking vamoose and skittle on, and then there'll be a kid stranded over there on the Mexican side. And the American guys, they can't go over the border and go get them most of the time. They got to call in the Mexican military. They got to call in the fucking Mexican police to go pick up a kid. And then how long is that going to take? Where'd that kid go? We lost sight of him, went over a fucking a sand dune. I mean, this shit happens constantly. Same thing happens once they get across the border. Is fucking the coyotes will get them to the border, kick the kids. You even got videos of them basically throwing them over the fence on fucking catapults, essentially. I mean, climb up and dropping down on the other side, and then they're done. So now you got kids, and they just tell them, go that way. Just fucking go that way. You got, groups of 3, 4, 5 kids. They're all kids. Oldest one's fucking 10, trudging through the desert. No water, no fucking clothing to handle it. No fucking defensive weapons. I mean, they're just kids out in the middle of the fucking desert. This happens every fucking day. And Americans apply the wrong mentality to what the crisis is. They think that they're being huggy, touchy, feely. Oh, let the poor people in. No, motherfuckers, you're fucking letting the poor people die in the fucking desert, you idiots.
That is a really, really great point. And I'd like to piece that apart a little bit more, because I think the same thing goes even for, I don't know what tier China is, but it's a similar thing, because China is horrendous. just government. I know on an individual basis, wonderful people. Okay, I went there and they're beautiful people and they're kind and they're generous, but they are trained from birth to be nothing. That the pride of being nothing, the pride of being a cog in the clock, just another dishwasher, just another military soldier, just another, the pride of that is enough that they don't worry themselves about politics. They don't worry themselves because it's too big, it's too vast, and I'm just a little guy, but I'm gonna have my pride in my little guy. And so they've been manipulated. And of course, there's so fucking many of them. The government just runs roughshod right over them, and nobody gives a fuck. And same thing goes every time that they have tried to give a fuck. Hello, Hong Kong. Hong Kong got a taste, even though they were poor, defenseless against the English. And I don't know what the fucking shit the English did. I have no idea. But they have had money and deliciousness and first world westernization in Hong Kong for years, and they fucking like it. And then we gave a fucking back to China, and China has been screwing and screwing and screwing, and now has literally all of the protesters have shrunk back because they're afraid of getting arrested or killed. So all of the protesters, they've just shrunk back. And so now China has control again of Hong Kong, and watch what the fuck happens. And the mentality thing, just like you're saying,
white liberals especially, but liberals in general, think everybody who speaks Spanish lives in a fucking pueblo. Okay, they think everybody who speaks they do. They think everybody built their house from clay, and they're just like, oh, and everybody who speaks fucking Spanish just loves trans people. Fuck you, liar, liar, liar. Do you know how many people in that fucking caravan don't like gays? Are you out of your fucking mind? You think, oh yeah, just come over the border and we'll just weave baskets. I'll show them in a park, and I'll show them what a phone looks like. Eat my dick, you racist white liberal fuck. That's not happening. These are humans. These are complicated humans with complicated experiences and complicated perceptions of their experiences. And some of them are psychopaths. And sometimes the psychopath happens from blood, and God damn it, sometimes it happens from nurture. Okay, and you cannot breed that out just because, oh, now you have an iPhone. No more psychopath. Fuck you, man. That's not how this works.
Yeah, you bring up excellent points, right in line with what I was saying about that mentality of strong survive, right? That's exact. People think that MS-13 is brutal because you grew up in the first world. That's how gangs are in most of the third world, by the way, right? It's the same fucking way. They have no respect for human life because they come from cultures that are strong survive, fuck the weak. The same is true. By the way, I got to tell you this quick story because of the way you said that last bit was fucking priceless. And it reminded me of this story. I was for the record, my wife, Tina, is full-blooded Chinese. So understand, we are Asian. Okay. I'm Asian. She's Asian. Whatever you want to make of this next part, if you fucking make it your whatever.
If that's the case, we have to end the episode now. No.
We're driving around and we see this liberal car. How do we know it's a liberal? Because there's fucking bumper stickers all over it. And one of those bumper stickers in there is like, fuck racism. And we're like, dude, I'm going to print up a fucking bumper sticker that just says fuck Asians and just put it on the car and see what happens. And because I want to watch these people lose their shit and pull up next to me and go, hey, they're Asian. I want to watch those fucking people say that, because you're making the point that we've been talking about, is that these people in the Asian cultures are exactly like that, brainwashed into this caste system without it being a direct caste system, where essentially they can't rise more than one station above their current station for their family. And they think generationally we'll work our way up the chain one generation at a time. We'll start off as porters, we'll move to fucking cabbies, then we'll become janitors. And this is the mindset of these people that they have been indoctrinated since birth with, that you will not rise. They don't have the same training we do. We tell our children you can be anything you want. The rest of the world does not tell their children that. I want you to understand, we tell our children you can be anything you want. We teach them freedom from the day they're born, that they can do anything they want. Those other cultures don't. They teach them that this is your life, this is your future, get fucking used to it, suck it up and be the best cocksucker you can be. And that's different. That's the mindset difference. That's the mentality difference. And one more point I want to make before I kick it back to you is because I don't mean this as a slight to you, but I can tell by your commentary that maybe you and many of your guests or many of your audience don't understand the actual history of Hong Kong. I want this to be understood. Hong Kong was a desolate fucking rock that meant shit to fucking nobody when the British showed up. Okay? The British fucking found an empty fucking island and said, hey, we can make this a trading port. And they fucking built Hong Kong. Then the Chinese decided, whoa, wait a minute. We want some of that. We want some of that. And it became a point of tension over century. Okay? Century. Why? Because the reason that Hong Kong went back to China was that the English government had a 99-year lease that they negotiated 100 years earlier with the Chinese that were trying to take the fucking rock the first time. So understanding the history helps you understand a lot more of what's going on. The Chinese always intended to steal the fucking island, and the British government essentially said, look, we're not going to fucking go to war anymore over Hong Kong. Let's just, we'll get a 99-year lease. We'll kick the can down the road. We'll figure something else out. Well, they never fucking figured anything out. And then That's why we're where we are today. So this is why I preach to everybody, man, dig into the history to understand what the fuck is going on in the real world.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with Indians. I mean, there was weirdness when it came to their being a colony. But why do you think there are so many Indians who moved to England? Because they understood, like, oh, this is where my kids can have a really good life, a better life than India. So you can say, oh, colonization gave, we would, if I really don't think, and again, I don't think it's because that Native Americans or whatever the fuck, indigenous peoples were stupid or whatever. It's just that someone got a hold onto that idea of capitalism. Someone got a hold onto that idea of industrialization. Someone did it first. And goddamn it, that westernization, that colonization actually, I know it trampled a lot of people, but it way more for a lot longer has been doing great shit for the human race, you know?
I couldn't agree with you more. Look, again, another point that ties into Hong Kong, Chinese, and everybody. A lot of people don't understand that. Why do we even have the opium trade? Where did that come from? And how does that relate to colonization of the world? Well, because doctors from basically England, I'm gonna old school and make this kind of tight, right? Europe, will say, is that they figured out that this opium stuff that they had found, it helps kill pain. It'll help them with surgeries, blah, blah, blah. How do we get to the opium? Well, they needed to get the opium out of where? Afghanistan, right? The Bengal fields, those kinds of things. But they had to create a trading system. Remember, what the British government did better than anybody else on the planet was trade. They didn't want to necessarily kill everybody. They wanted to trade with everybody. That's literally how this whole thing started. And then they had to protect their investments from everybody else that wanted to take their investments. So anyways, I'm going down a little bit of a path of history, but it's important to understand that this is what basically happened. They're created a triangle of trade in order to get the opium from Afghanistan, the tea from China, using the cotton from America. That's your triumvirate trade that allowed the colonization of the whole world. To understand, that's where it all stems from. It all came from just trying to protect their investments. It just came from trying to get that trade done, because in England, they wanted fucking tea and opium, and in fucking China, they wanted the cotton for their fucking clothing. I mean, this was the little trade triangle that they set up, and it worked to dominate the whole fucking planet.
Right. And I'll add to that. I love in Thomas Sowell's book, Discrimination and Disparities. He talks about how China at a certain point went into 400 years of dog shit living because the emperor said, I don't want to trade. We are racially superior to everybody. So we're going to close our borders to the point of no trade, and we're just going to build up ourselves. And because of that, there was no outside influence on China, and they ate shit for 400 years. And then when they started opening up, then they were like, oh, I can trade and I'll make it whatever. Now, along with that, when I went to China, a lot of people, especially the Rage Against the Machine crowd, are really big on the idea of, oh, I'm a passive, the government and the powers that be want me to be a passive consumer. Now, there is some truth to that. I understand that. You can be too much just, what's that, Idiocracy or Wall-E or whatever, like, where just like we're fat people being stuffed into, whatever. But China did a beautiful fucking thing. China let their people have just enough Westernism so that they really can be distracted. So that they really can be indoctrinated. I mean, there is only one social media. I mean, a lot of people get around it through VPNs, but there's only one social media, and it's monitored by the government. Okay. Along with it, they do have Starbucks, they do have KFC, they do have McDonald's in third-tier cities. Not even fucking Beijing, in third-tier cities. I went to Shenyang, and there's 10 million motherfucking people there, and they had everything you could want, suits and McDonald's and all kinds of Western shit. But just enough, right? They have Western music, and they love American music, love English music, mostly American, love that shit. But what do they do with it? They get drunk, and do it on the weekends. That's what they do. And so they sing about love and they sing about party or whatever, but they certainly don't sing about, there's no Rage Against the Machine. There's no moshing going on in China. There's no, you don't understand what I'm saying? So they let them have just enough Western culture to feel like I am now a passive consumer. So not only am I just a cog in the clock, now I can salve that desire to elevate my life with the dreams, you know, and the love and whatever.
Yeah, this is a point that I think a lot of people need to really understand. We spend a lot of effort in this country hating China, and there's a reason for it. But ultimately, it's been our fault that they've been able to get and achieve what they've achieved. So right now, if you look back, exactly making the point that you just made, and to understand what they did is, what China did is the model that the Democrats want to do to the United States. They are successful. People need to stop and pull the earplugs out of their own fucking ears and hear what I just said. China is successful at what they wanted to do. They've essentially have a single party rule system, which is exactly what the Democrats want. And they have their people feeling like they have some modicum of freedom because they've got little things like this. But the people cannot achieve without the party. That's the same system we see happening in America today. That's what the left wants. That's what their allies in the media want. This is exactly the dream of the Democrat socialist. It is exactly what China was able to do in that system. Look, communism still to this day has killed more people than every other war on the planet combined. Okay? Combined. You can take World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, the Korean War. You can take all the fucking wars that England ever had, all the wars Australia was ever in, every fucking war around the fucking planet, take everybody that ever died, and it still won't even reach what communism did in Russia, let alone what it did in fucking China. Okay? So when you understand what that means to the mentality, it goes right back to what we started the show off with. It's a mentality thing. We teach our children freedom. You can be anything you want. The East and the Asians teach their kids, this is your station. This is your life. Suck it up and learn how to be the best at it. That mindset is what has the culture set the way it does around the world. And it's that simple. It's that small. It's that easy to understand.
And it sounds a lot like that, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
No, sorry.
Ta-Nehisi Coates is the guy who he's just a he's just the most, like, I don't know why there's not like well, I do know why, but can you understand liberals who are listening to my voice right now? I know there's only two of them because we've said things and you don't like listening to people of color, so that's why you've tuned out. But listen to the words I'm saying. There's no manly men on the liberal side. There's none, not fucking one. I know some of them have muscles, but not really. They're mostly interested in, especially the black ones. If you see a black guy at a Black Lives Matter rally, he's trying to get laid. Okay, if you see a black guy, he's trying to get laid, or he's trying
from a white chick,
right? From a white chick, or because I mean, come on, Anyway, sorry. Who wants the fucking? If you're teasing your hair out real bad, black girls, listen. You're probably not washing your vagina. But here's the thing: if you see a black, or they're doing the whole what they were doing in Ferguson, trying to strong arm that liquor store into closing down, into giving more money and giving more money after they gave money, and to give it, and then changing this and changing that, change the name of the street. And they're hungry for vengeance and anger. They're coming from a place of fear. They're not getting laid. Okay, they're not manly fucking men. Now, Ta-Nehisi fucking fuckball Coates. What he is, he's the guy who wrote, he's written a bunch of comics for Black Lives, or for Black Panther. He has dick sucking lips, you know what I'm saying? Like he was the one who, he's the one who, I think he's writing some other bullshit, but like he wrote, he's written multiple books on race, and he was one of the people who had the sit down, the talk. It's time for us to have the talk with my black son, who I somehow forced myself to fuck my wife, even though she has a vagina, because you're gay. Just come out. It's fine. We love you too. Anyway,
I'm going on a million tangents. He had the talk with his black son. You'll never be what you can be. You'll never be really free because you're black in America. He had to sit down. That's some abusive ass shit. And that's literally what the Democrats are wanting to do with critical race theory. You can't be what you could be because you're black. Even I was just watching, I was watching a little earlier. You ever seen The Negotiator?
Yes, absolutely. Great movie. I like that movie. Yeah.
Great fucking flick. And Samuel L. Jackson, who was not a huge star at the time. Hello, he was in Pulp Fiction, whatever, but he was the main star on that. And that was almost 30 years, well, maybe 25 years ago. How could Samuel L. Jackson be a star of the main vehicle besides Kevin Spacey? He was the main vehicle behind The Negotiator being a success. How could that happen if we've gotten more racist over the years? How could that happen? Do you understand what I'm saying? They're wanting to tamp down the freedom and the idea. And at the same time, if the Democrats really wanted to say, you can, black people, you can do whatever you want, they would also say, here's a job. They're not doing that. They're doing the fucking opposite of that. They want black people small. They want black people small. Who wanted black people big? Fucking Trump, bitch. Because that's why he had the lowest unemployment, for Hispanic, for women, for gay. Everybody was getting some of that fucking cheddar, and now you're taking it away. Fuck you, man.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Look, it goes back. You touched on some really good points, and I hope I can do justice here because my brain obviously just kept firing with different thoughts.
Your days are. You can do anything you want.
The Republicans, as a rule, have always been the ones that want the minorities to succeed. How can I illustrate this any better than this? The first black congressman in this country was in 1870, but he was a Republican. You know when the first black Democrat? Yeah. 1970. Okay, let's just look at 100 years of deference and who the fuck the racists are. And I want to make this point to anybody that ever is told you can't achieve for any fucking reason. Chains of the mind are worse than chains of the flesh any fucking day, because we have history and story after story after story of people enslaved that were still free in their mind and gave up their lives. Why do people love the movie Braveheart? That motherfucker died, but he died free. That's the thing, is that if you enslave your mind, you can achieve nothing. You can't even put on your fucking underwear in the morning if you tell yourself you can't. That's how fucking important it is to not put any chains on your mind. That is more important than anything anyone else can ever do to you. Is you must be free up here before you even worry about what your freedom is from external forces.
Right. I actually know, on that topic, people in prison who have changed their life around. They did deserve, life is not Shawshank Redemption, liberals. They did actually murder people. And some of them were illegals. What? But they had brown skin. It wasn't their fault. But they changed their life around. They got sober. They made they flowered. And they're actually, I know some motherfuckers who are more free in prison than some of the people I know who are not in prison.
No, absolutely, because they're free in their head. And that's one of the things that you have to understand, is that nobody can do anything to you that you don't allow them to do to you. I mean, I know that sounds fucking like, well, that's an abstract fucking concept. No, it's really not, because let's look at one of the most prolific geniuses everybody in the world knows about, Albert Einstein. He did all his work in his head, all of it. He didn't need a pencil, didn't need a paper, didn't need to tie his shoes. He didn't need fuck all. They could have put that motherfucker in prison and he still would have achieved his ends because he did all his work in his mind. Okay. It's more important to understand you can achieve things, whatever they are, have a positive outlook on life. No matter what your life is, it will change your life. I know it sounds like I'm just like some weird fucking preacher guy you invited on your show.
Tony
But
Robbins.
I can't stress this enough because it goes right back to all of the drama that we talked about this whole show up till now. Mindset. Third world countries have a completely different mindset because they are indoctrinated by people just like the ones that want to do it to you in this country. That we talked about it. It's mindset. Asians, they're taught this is your station. This is where you will be. We are taught you can be anything you want to be. What does the left want to do? They want to emulate China. Why does MS-13 come in and fucking kill everybody? No respect for life. Why? Because the mindset is strong survive, fuck the weak, take what you want. That's the only way you're going to achieve. It's all mindset. Every fucking bit of this, every fucking problem can actually be launched backwards and looked at and said, it's mindset. It's all about how people are thinking about it. If you feel enslaved, guess what? You're fucking enslaved. That's it. If you feel like you're fucking less than me, guess what, motherfucker? You're less. Why? Because you said so, not because I said so. You fucking said you're less than I am. It's all up here, people. Every bit of life is up here.
Yeah, there's a lot of rich white people who kill themselves every year. And there's a lot of poor black people who fucking don't. So let's maybe start wrapping up in a little bit, but I did want to talk about as well. Are you seeing, because I don't know, my friend Mark Hughes, the comic, Canadian comic, wonderful boy. He has decided very intentionally that he is not, that he, you know, I know for the last couple of years, we've been talking about the idea of echo chambers. He's decided I'm fine with an echo chamber. He's decided I'm done like following, and he's got a point, right? You and I have talked about this. Everywhere else outside of my social media, or even on my social media, even if I follow only Republicans or only conservatives, or in my idea, the big tent of non-liberals or people who are willing to talk mad shit about liberals and what they're doing. If you follow only those people, you're still going to get, remember black, you know, I turn on Amazon Prime and black stories. Did you guys know? Did you guys know someone black is having a hard time? Did you guys know gay people, they had a bad time? They're doing nothing but going back and watching. Yeah, remember this gay story of someone having a bad time in the fucking 40s? Assholes. So they're shoving all this shit at us in every other aspect of life. So even an echo chamber online is probably just fucking fine. What do you think of that idea? Do you have liberals who follow you? Do you follow any?
Yes. And I think the way that I look at this is I'm a different animal. I know this is going to sound a little like, oh yeah, he thinks he's better than me. No, that's not what I'm saying. I feel like my duty to my audience and to your audience is to be aware of everything our enemy is doing so that I can create answers and ways to stop them, or systems to put in place to change culture. That's what Creato.media is all about. We're going to change the culture. We're going to change the mindset of America. We're going to return it to its true basic nature of freedom for everybody, even the whack-tard libtards, okay? We're going to free everybody. We don't give a fuck if you're a leftist, a rhino. We don't care. You deserve freedom every bit as much as I do. So that part of myself, I feel I need to stay in touch with the enemy. I need to be aware of what they're doing, what their maneuvers are, and what they're saying. But then there's the personal side that is also a segment of my brain where I just want to hang out with like-minded conservative people that aren't going to say something stupid, that aren't going to do something foolish, that aren't going to fucking make me lose my shit at dinner time. Those people I also just follow and keep my little echo chamber, and I don't care about the left. So I don't follow the left for, you know, trying to get engaged with them, because they're not going to fucking listen anyways. I learned this a long time ago. People generally aren't going to listen until something wakes them up, which makes me say thank you to Brandon Strock. Thank you to the Walkaway Movement. Thank you to Blexit. Thank you to Jexodus. Why? Those people were people that had their own wake-up moment, And then the people like me were here going like this with open arms. Come on, brother. Come on in. Bring it in. We give you a hug over here. And let me now inform you and instruct you on why we've been saying this shit for fucking 30, 40, 50 fucking years. And all you guys were just going, I can't fucking hear you. I can't fucking hear you. Now I need to fucking actually, because now you're willing to listen. You've had your walk away moment. Now I can help you. So there's no point really in engaging with a leftist, because it's like fighting with your wife. I'm sorry for all you wives out there. It's like fighting with your wife. She ain't listening to fucking give a shit what you're saying. She's listening to hear when she's going to make her fucking point. All right. Oh, there you go. You stepped in it. Bang, 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 motherfucker. Hey, remember when you fucking left that goddamn toilet seat down, motherfucker? What the fuck? You see, this is what happens when you're fighting. It's the same fucking thing. They don't give a fuck what you're saying right now. When they have their wake up moment, they'll come find you. That's when you can make a difference.
I think that's a good point. I think that's a very good point. I have had, so when even the other day, so one of the things I always talk about, or not always, but one of the things I've been talking about recently is when George Floyd happened, and everybody or a lot of liberals, a lot of well-meaning people online were going, white people don't get to have a say, just listen to black people. And I was like, okay, you know what? You're literally telling a whole race of people that they don't get to have a say with defunding the police, with their cities burning down, with all that shit. I'm now going to throw every single black conservative I can get my fucking hands on. Here, what about them? What about them? What about them? And I had a guy recently message me, we were talking, and he actually said that me putting all those black conservatives on my show helped him let go of being a liberal, right? So and on a personal level, just the friends and family that I already have, and there's still a lot of fans who are sometimes pretty quiet and only like my music stuff, you know, my music posts or my goofy posts or my sex memes or whatever. But on an individual basis, as I think you're right, as far as the engaging, maybe that's where the cutoff is. But them quietly following me, them following or listening to the show, I actually have had, you know, I'm not saying I changed minds, but I am saying I changed minds. Like, I think we do have an opportunity to get in there.
I agree with you. You made the excellent point. Yes, I don't block anybody. I have, by the way, all you liberals that are listening to his podcast, come on over. I don't block you unless you fucking start acting abusive to the audience. That's right. It. I don't block anybody. You can call me a fucking idiot, a moron, a racist, a fucking whatever the fuck you want to say about me. I don't care, right? Because if you're listening, you're in my show and you're hearing correct thought. So I know that it's going to make a difference at some point. You're exactly right. 100% agree with you on making that point. That's why I don't block people, is because even though they're morons, eventually they can learn too, right? I mean, that's the way it works.
Let's wrap up by just asking, how did you change, or did you?
No, actually, I've been this way. Look, I'm one of those weird motherfuckers, right? I was like fucking 8 years old in the backseat of my car. I swear, I kid you not. You can ask my mom this fucking story. If I'll bring her on the show one time just to prove it. When I was that young, little kid, I grew up watching politics. In fact, my first visual memory politically, I can actually remember like I was 2. Okay. I have a visual memory of watching Gerald Ford give a speech. My mom was shocked when I told her that, because I literally could tell her, describe the room, who was in the room and who was on TV. And she's like, how the fuck you remember that? Okay. So I've been in politics basically my whole fucking life and understanding things. So my point is, when I was 8 years old in the backseat of the car, all kinds of shit was fucking happening. And this was actually in the 70s, Jimmy Carter and all this bullshit was going on, right? And I said, Mom, why isn't a businessman in charge of this country? This shit makes no sense. This is what I asked at 8 fucking years old. We're talking in the 70s, okay? And literally it took to the 2016 to finally get a businessman in my lifetime in charge of this country, because it's the right thing. It's the only overriding factor of what everybody needs to understand in this country, because at the top, no matter what your socioeconomic political system is, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's communism, socialism, dictatorship. I don't care what your system is. Every country on this planet is a capitalist at the top. The difference between a capitalist system and every other system is you have the ability to rise to the top in a capitalistic system. All the other systems we just talked about, mindset, you're stuck where you're at. That's it. That's your lot in life. Suck it up and deal, motherfucker. So that at the top, though, everybody's a fucking capitalist. It's all about trade deals. Think about it. What is everybody looking for? I need to feed my people. I need clothing for my people. I need medicine for my people. At the top, they're all fucking trading and washing each other's hands. And we'll give you this for that. And they're businessmen. So why the fuck are you going to put the dumb shits in charge of the business of a country at the country level? Why are you going to put the people that could never fucking wipe their own ass in business at the fucking top? It made no sense to an 8-year-old. And it still makes no sense to my ass now. It's all got to be understood. That's why Donald Trump was able to do all the amazing things he did, because he understands that at the top level, everybody's just trying to get a better trade deal done.
Amen. Great points, man. So yeah, this is a shorter episode because it's midnight here and I'm fucking exhausted. But I definitely want to do this again. So where can people find you, please?
Go to tavshow.com. That's Tav with a T, like Tom, tavshow.com, and find the links to everything right there. My wife does my shit there. She makes it simple for everybody to find me. I'm on too many fucking networks to name them all, but I do want to say this one more time, is that fuck YouTube. Go find me over at my website and join DLive.tv. We're not going to broadcast pirate radio anymore on YouTube. Even though we're on YouTube tonight, fuck YouTube. You've suspended people too much and you want to indoctrinate us too much and you want to limit what I can talk about. Well, I'm not going to limit what I talk about, including if you fucking suspend me forever for this fucking comment right here. You all at YouTube can suck my dick.
Amen. Okay. So people can go to TAV show. Now, and D-Live, are you on Twitch as well or no?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch, D-Live, Trovo, Periscope. I'm getting ready to start up an Instagram, but I haven't started it yet because I want to do it as an experiment. I want to try to sneak in on Instagram and basically just tell all my followers elsewhere, go follow me over here, but I'm not going to do shit over there until I'm able to kind of like build up a quiet following. Let's see how many people actually can join before they start censoring me and trying to fucking pigeonhole me and fucking shadow ban me and shove it up my ass over there. So I want to try to do a stealth mission over there.
That's a smart thing. I had literally the other day, I don't know if you saw, but I lost 180 followers in one fucking day. They've shadow banned me. They've taken down 2 different posts because they had sexual activity or nudity. Neither one of them had it. Same thing happened on my TikTok, but TikTok just shut it down because China's a shithead. And so Instagram, thankfully, hasn't done it the most, but the white liberals in Menlo Park, California are definitely shitheads. So they're definitely going to kill my account soon.
Listen on YouTube. This is how bad the censorship is. Like it was for a program which I do on Saturday nights, which is called Ladies of Liberty, right? So on that show, I literally download and play the news clips, word for word, news, and so everybody can see our sources, and then we talk about the news and give our opinions based on that news. They literally suspended me because we're not allowed to talk about the elections. Wait. This is news. How can I do an opinion-based news program citing my sources, playing the clips that the fucking thing that's happening in Arizona is happening, and you're going to deny reality and say we can't talk about the election? It doesn't make any sense. It's pure censorship.
Fucking gross. All right. Thankfully, creeps like us need to stick together. Thank God that we found each other.
Oh, by the way, because you said that, I got to say this to you. Did you hear I said cunt the other night on the show just for you? People were like, James said cunt. I was like, dude, Peter fucking has always said that, dude. He said, I love you guys on Pirate Radio because you'll just say cunt and you don't have a problem with it. So the other day on one of my shows, I just slipped it right out in there and just called somebody a cunt. And I was like, I hope Peter sees this.
It's always good to slip in a cunt. Hey. So everybody go follow me on Instagram for now at Peter_Feliciano. That's Feliciano. Find me on Instagram also at Conservatish. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Rule62Pete. Find me on Twitter at Rule62Peter. You can support my podcast and my music at patreon.com/Conservatish. And go listen to my album. It's still, it's a year and a half old or whatever. I'm making new music. June 10th will be another one. So pay attention to my YouTube as well. And we've been talking about, and I may have to reach out to you when this happens, so you can share it with your New York people and Jersey people, whoever. But I think we might do a non-liberal person of color party and just have a big fucking just party, not rally, no speeches, whatever, just barbecue and dancing and lemonade and drinks and do whatever, and flirting and whatever. Let's just have it specifically designed for people of color. White people, you can come, don't worry. Although there will be gluten there, so just stay one. But just specifically designed for people of color, so that assholes who are like, but have nowhere to go. They're gonna have to cancel people of color, and I'm gonna love it when their faces just, danger, Will Robinson.
Yes. I do want to say, though, just for my audience, that Peter does think white is a color. That's why I said white people can come too, but he has a mission in mind to try to fuck these lefties.
No, I don't think white people are a color. I think they're Satan. No, I'm just kidding. White devil. Anyway, so everybody pay attention to my social media, whatever, and make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening. And go find Criado, go find TAV Show. Go find and follow James. Thank you so much, James. I'm going to stop the recording right now.